Hi guys, and welcome back to another tutorial. So if you want to see how I made this beautiful stylish peplum skirt, the front pattern and also the back, you want to watch to the end of this tutorial as I give detailed explanation of both the stitching. So I have my basic front skirt pattern, which I've gone ahead also to cut in fold just so I could have the full piece of it on a white pattern paper. Also, I've gone ahead to impute my darts. This is basically your normal dart for a skirt, the basic dart for a skirt, okay? And I've gone ahead to label front. This is my hemline, my waistline, the hip, and also the hemline, which are the three basic measurements you'll be needing for a basic skirt. So having done that now, I want the skirt to have a waistband. So I'll be going ahead to impute my waistband on the skirt, and I marked a waistband of length of about 1.5 inch. Yes, 1.5 inches. So I'm going to be marking 1.5 inches from one side of the skirt down to the other side of the skirt. And having done this now, I'll go ahead with my ruler and marker to join these dots together, forming a straight line, just so it's visible for you to see it clearly. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and like this video, okay? If you have anything you want to talk about concerning this video, leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll reply you as soon as possible. Thank you. So having done that, I'm going to have to label waistband, and I'll be cutting this out with my scissors. So in order to make our waistband fitted on our body, just like a normal waist close to the body, we're going to be eliminating that is on this waistband. So we're going to be removing that dart on the waistband, okay? And when you tape it down, you're going to be having something that is like so. Removing the darts on both sides of this waistband, and you should be having something that looks like this as your waistband, okay? So having done that, now we're going to be working on the actual skirt pattern. I'm gonna have to add an additional pattern paper on both sides of the skirt just for the sake of this design, and you're going to see the reason why I added it even as you continue watching this video, okay? I'm going to be marking 6 inches as the length of my peplum. Remember, we took 1.5 inch away, so I'm going to be marking 6 inches from this very part, which is now my skirt waist. I'm going to be marking 6 inches, and for that part of the peplum that looks like it tilted outwards, I'll be marking 2 inches from the side part. I don't know, how do I explain it? From the side seam, not really side seam, from the side of the skirt pattern, 2 inches for the extension. So I'll be marking 6 inches down from one side up onto the other side of the skirt pattern, okay? And also remember that this other side has also a peplum that is tilted outwards, and I'm going to also be marking that outward as 1.5 inch. That was the reason why I added those additional pattern paper to both sides of the skirt pattern, okay? So I'll be using my ruler to join these lines together, just so I could form a straight line, like a guideline for what I am doing, okay? So I haven't done that now. From this very tip, I'm going to be joining a line to that 2 inch, and I'll be smoothing out with my marker. Remember that the other side of the peplum is actually longer than the other side, so I'm going to be increasing the length of that side of the peplum. So instead of 6 inches, I increase it by 2.5 inch, making it 8.5 inches, okay? Also, I'll be marking out the extension, which I used 1.5 inches, and from this waistline, I am going to be using a ruler to join this together from the waistline to roll it down to that 1.5-inch mark extension. And going in with my marker, I'm going to be drawing a curved line from the other extension to meet this other side extension. And this curved line now is going to be my actual peplum skirt pattern. Okay. Also, I've gone ahead to add another fresh pattern piece for the other design that looks like a flounce on the side of the skirt, which came down towards the hemline of the skirt. You see what I mean as we go on in this video. Okay. So I went ahead to add an additional 1 inch to this other side, the longer side of the peplum of the skirt, just so it's kind of more bigger. Okay, just so it's bigger. You can do something bigger than that, but I think don't use more than 4 inches so it doesn't look too big or too voluminous. So having done that very particular point, I'm going to be marking that curved line, that curved shape that went in to the side seam of this skirt and is somehow close to the hemline of the skirt. Okay. So having done this now, I'm going ahead to label these designs and cut them out separately just so it's easier for us to understand. So the whole part of the basic peplum, I'm going to label it as 1. Then this part that has this curved shape, I'll be labeling it as 2. As we go on in this video, you will understand clearly why I'm doing this and what I'm actually doing. Okay, I've gone ahead to remove the excess papers around it just so it's more clearer, and as you can see, it's already looking like the shape of that exact skirt. So having done this now, I'm going to be tracing out number 1 on a fresh pattern paper. So I've gone ahead to bring a fresh pattern paper and I'll be tracing out number 1 on a fresh pattern paper. Okay, just so it's easier for us to understand. I'm doing this process is just to simplify the learning process. I'm going to be tracing out the whole of number 1, including the dots, on a fresh pattern paper, just so number 1 is separate. Also, I'm going ahead also to trace out number 2. The number 2 of the peplum that has this curved part that went into the hemline of the skirt, or somewhere close to the hemline of the skirt. I'm tracing the number 2 now. So having traced out number 2, this is what it should be. Even as you can see, the other side has the exact shape of your skirt, of a basic skirt, and the other side that is tilted outwards. Please look closely so you see what the number 2 looks like, because it's going to be helping us during the sewing process. So I'm going to be, this is number 1 and this is number 2 of this very particular skirt design that we want to create. So having done this now, I'm going to be attaching number 1 to number 2 like so, just so we have it as one piece. Just so we have it as one piece. We right size on both sides. I'm going to be attaching it like so, just so we have one piece. So having done that now, it's now in a full piece, and when you flip over, this is what you're going to be having. When you flip over, this is what you're going to be having. Okay. So having done that now, we're going to be working on the darts. Okay, just so we get that peplum effect of the skirt. So I'm going to be extending my bust apart line where I formed the dart all onto, I'm going to be extending it down to the hemline of this peplum. We need an added fullness on the hemline of this peplum. So we are going to be cutting it, we are going to be manipulating this dart just so we have an added fullness at the hemline of this peplum. So having done that now, I've eliminated the dart, I've opened the dart. I'm going to be closing up the dart at the hemline and opening it at the hemline of this very particular peplum, okay? Just so we have that added fullness at the hemline of the peplum. So I'm going to be doing the same thing to the other side. Having done that now, we've been able to achieve a little added fullness at the hemline of this peplum, just so it doesn't stick to the basic skirt, okay? Definitely the peplum has to be different from your skirt. So when you wear it, there is that difference that this is a peplum and this is your skirt. So like you do on your normal skirt, when you're sewing your normal skirt, we are going to be sewing up the darts. We are going to be closing the dart of this skirt, okay? So I'm going ahead to close up the dart of my skirt, and my skirt is looking like this, like so. And I'll be putting that peplum on it just so I show you. This is not the stitching process. We are going to be stitching it, and I'll show you what the stitching process should look like. I'm just trying to show you what it looks like, just like, you know. So this is what it should look like. So I haven't done that now. We're going over to our back skirt back pattern. So for the skirt back pattern, it's basically the same thing that we did to the front. You want to label your darts. You also want to label the center back. And also, we're going to be getting our waistband. If there is a waistband in front, there should also be a waistband at the back, and they should be same length, okay? So I used 1.5 inch in the front. I'm also going to be using 1.5 inch at the back. Haven't done this, I'll be using my ruler to join the small lines together, and I'll be separating my back waistband from the actual back skirt pattern, like so. So having done this now, just like we did to the front, I'll also be eliminating the dart of this very back waistband, just so it's fitted also to the back. Having done that, I'm going to be taping this down like so. Waistband, okay? Also label, so you know where your center back is for the sake of your zipper. I'm gonna have to also label my center back. So having done that now, I'm going to be determining the length of my back peplum. For the front, I used 6.5 inch. For the back, I decided to use 5.5 inch. You can use 6.5 inch, but do not let your back peplum to be so long. It's going to be very awkward. Whatever you use at the front, it's either you use same thing at the back, or you reduce the length of the front from the back. Okay, you have to reduce the length or use the exact length. Do not let your back be longer, except if there's another design you want to create. So I'm going to have to trace out this whole of this peplum on a fresh pattern paper like so, as you can see. Also, we'll be working on that dart, just so it doesn't stay on the skirt, like flap on the skirt. We want that, that peplum effect. So same thing we did to the front, we are going to be doing to the back, okay? I'll be opening up the dart. Sorry, my table is actually a glass table, and I can see myself. I can see myself actually. Sorry about that. So I'm closing up the dart now and opening it at the hemline of this peplum, just so we have that little added fullness, okay? So having done that now, when we fix this to the basket pattern, you see there is that added fullness, just that little added fullness that makes it to look like a peplum. So having done this now, we're going to be getting 2 pieces of this very particular part. So for the stitching, you want to use that part of number 2 peplum that is exactly the same as the side of your front skirt, and you sew them like so. I just hope that is making sense. That very part of number 2 peplum, you want to sew it. That very part that is same with the side of your skirt, you sew it to the side of your skirt, okay? So when you flip over, you're going to be having something like this. And I'm going to have to attach one side of the back. Now going over to the sewing of the side of the back where this number 2 peplum is, I'm going to be explaining the stitching of that part also. You want to open up till you're able to see your seam of the side, just like so. Then placing right sides together like you do on your normal sewing. You also want to attach the seam, the side of that your back skirt pattern to the side of that front pattern and sew it down. I just hope this is explanatory, and that is how we arrived at this very particular skirt. As you can see, everything is in place and there are no things falling, hanging around. Everything is nicely fitted. This is the back, and this is where you want to fix in your zipper. This is my waist, there, your zipper part. And also I'm gonna have to attach the waistband also. Okay, if you like this video, subscribe to this channel for more videos. And having said that, I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.